To Chicago for one of the top games in the state of Illinois all football season this year. From Gately Stadium, St. Rita takes on Mount Carmel. Hello everybody, I'm Jim Blaney along with Kenny McReynolds, and forget about the best game in the state. This is the best game in the country this weekend in high school football. Sports Illustrated says so. And Kenny, strange thing about this rivalry is these are two teams that go way back, St. Rita and Mount Carmel, but oddly enough, Mount Carmel has beaten St. Rita about twice as often as the other way around, but St. Rita comes in as defending state champs. This is going to be maybe the best game ever in this rivalry.
Well, I tell you what, Jim, this is going to be an outstanding game. St. Rita, state champions. Here's the state championship ring. I have one on my finger. They want another one.
St. Rita won this game last year at home, but it was one of those games, Kenny, that if you looked at the numbers afterwards, they shouldn't have won the game. They got some critical turnovers by Mount Carmel at the wrong time for the Caravan, and St. Rita took advantage of every break and beat the Caravan.
Well, and that's what you're supposed to do. That game last year was played at home. It was a one-point game. But, Jim, you know what? That was last year. This place is sold out, and Mount Carmel is the home team.
And oddly enough, it's St. Rita that comes in as defending state champions. Mount Carmel, they lost in the 8A title game 1 year ago. But the Mount Carmel team this year, there's Division 1A guys all over the place, Kenny. This may be one of their better teams that they've had in recent years.
Well, you know what, Jim? They feel this is the year they can get that state championship for Coach Linty. Of course, he's won so many. He wants another one. They tell me this is the year they feel they can do it.
All right, now there's so many players we could focus on for these teams. Kenny and I are going to take the easy way out. We're going to look at the quarterbacks for both of these clubs. Jason Kafka for St. Rita doesn't make a lot of throws, really doesn't complete a high percentage, but he hits the passes when he needs to.
Well, when you talk about Jason, Jim, he's a double threat because he doesn't throw much. He's only thrown the ball 27 times, but he has 4 touchdowns and 12 completions. He's also rushed for 2 touchdowns.
And maybe one of the most glamorous positions in high school football is quarterback at Mount Carmel. Of course, Donovan McNabb, Mike McGrew, all sorts of great players have played there. Jordan Lynch is there right now.
Yeah, another in a great line of quarterbacks for Mount Carmel. Jordan Lynch, this young man has 4 touchdown passes, Jim. He's completed yardage for 270 yards, but he can also run the ball. He's rushed for 154 yards on the season. Again, another double threat at quarterback.
You are going to see a packed house. You're going to see an emotional game. You're going to see a ton of hitting. This is going to be a fantastic game coming up on our CN100 High School Game of the Week. We will have the lineups and the opening kick after this timeout as we get ready for St. Rita against Mount Carmel.
You're watching the Comcast Network, CN100 Chicago.
CN100, Chicagoland's most watched cable network, is on the web at cn100.tv. Access our full lineup of award-winning programs covering everything from
teams, 2 heated rivals. Jim Blaney along with Kenny McReynolds here, and Mark Kruger is with us as well. Let's go down to the sidelines. Mark, how are you tonight?
Pretty good, Jim. Thank you very much. You know, you talk about this Mount Carmel defense. They're giving up just over 11 points per game through the first 3 weeks of this football campaign, but that unit is going to get awful better. A couple of key players back in the starting lineups tonight since suffering high ankle sprains in their Week 1 victory over Joliet Catholic. Linebacker Kyler Kolpak and defensive back Dan Kosey are both back in the starting lineup here tonight. I talked to Coach Lente about both of them. He said, Mark, they're not 100%, but they are healthy enough, and they will be in the starting lineup tonight. As for the Mustangs of St. Rita, I talked to Coach Kuska earlier today. He kind of downplayed tonight's game. He said, you know, this is our conference opener, nothing more and nothing less. He said next week there will be a Week 5. Interesting note, guys, since 1990, Mount Carmel 16-3 against St. Rita. Should be a good one, Jim.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. And you can say whatever you want about it just being a conference opener in another game, Kenny. That's just trying to keep your guys from getting too fired up, which can happen in one of these games. But this game, the game between these two teams last year that we did as part of the CN100 High School Game of the Week was one of the better games we saw. And as we mentioned in the open, it was a game where really Mount Carmel dominated the game. They took the ball up and down the field, but they made mistakes, not just in the red zone, but inside the 5-yard line. St. Rita capitalized, and they won the game. Stephen Flaherty set to kick off for St. Rita.
Boy, look at this crowd, Jim.
Gets a good leg into it. That will go into the end zone, and that will be a touchback. So Mount Carmel will begin their first possession, 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Let's take a look at the starting lineup And what else is new if you're Mount Carmel? A big offensive line in front of some very skilled offensive players, such as senior Tim Brown. Denzel Thompson has gone for 3 touchdowns already this year. He's not a starter, but he'll see some time. And Jordan Lynch goes into the huddle for the first time, Kenny.
Not only a big offensive line, Jim, but a good offensive line. And how important is an offensive line? Just ask the University of Notre Dame.
Right. KJ Picard comes out wide to the left. You see Tim Brown is the split back to the right. Lynch drops back to throw on first down. Looks to his right, swings it out for Brown. Has it hit at the 20-yard line. He'll pick up 2 yards before he is wrestled down by Martin Hopkins, the junior linebacker for St. Rita. Let's take a look at that defense for St. Rita. And I'll tell you what, Kenny, you have some huge linebackers in this group. Popek goes at 205. He's the smallest guy out of the group. O'Connor, 215. Stoklosa is 235. And Hopkins checks in at 240 in this St. Rita defense. Defending state champs is a good reason why. They are very, very good, and they are very active, and they will lay some pops on you. We haven't even talked about Darius Fleming yet. He's heading for Notre Dame next year. He's a defensive end, number 90 in this setup. He will play linebacker next year.
And we will say his name an awful lot tonight.
And there's a carry up the middle that's not going to go very far. That was Edwin Williams on the carry, and that was Fleming on the tackle. And Kenny, he is one of those guys, you just look at him and, 6'3", 245. That doesn't tell the story, but just look at the guy, and he just looks like he's ready to play at the next level.
You know what? He's going to be an outstanding player at Notre Dame. I was talking to his dad. You can see how quick he is right there before the game. And his dad told me, he said, Darius told him, Dad, we have to put away those state championship rings. Those mean nothing this season. We want another one.
I know it's sacrilege to compare him to a Mount Carmel guy, but he looks a lot, at least body type, like Simeon Rice.
That's a compliment.
3rd down and 8 from the 22. Lynch is back to pass. He's flushed out to his left. He's trying to scramble for yardage. He's really going to have a fight on his hands. He'll take it out to about the 25-yard line, and 9 hats for the St. Rita defense in the picture as they make the tackle. Mount Carmel will have to punt if they're going 3 and out on their first series.
They go 3 and out in their first series, and you take a look at the St. Rita sidelines, this place is jam-packed. But Jim, the offensive line did a pretty decent job at first, but there was nothing downfield. He was looking to pass. There was nobody open. The corner in the secondary did a great job there for the Mustangs.
Dave Marciano is back deep to receive the punt. That will come off the foot of A.J. Nichols. Now the wind has picked up a little bit, and it's chilly tonight, so it's coming out of the north. So Nichols is punting straight into the wind. Snap a little off. Nichols actually with a pretty good kick, and there will be a fair catch at the St. Rita 49-yard line, and that is where the Mustangs will come out for their offensive possession. Number 1 in the game. Let's take a look at their offense. Kafka is the quarterback. Talked about him in the open. Doesn't throw a lot, but this is a running team that likes to pound the football. DeMarcus Dullen, 4 touchdowns on the season, and the school that produced Dennis Slick has continued to produce huge offensive linemen. 265, 270, 295, 250, and 315 across the offensive line for St. Rita. 1st down and 10. Kafka hands off, gives to Dullen, and he's going to pick up about 2 yards into the middle of the Mount Carmel defense before he is taken down. Anthony Battle was among those in on the tackle. He has 2 defensive linemen with him, and there's the active linebackers. Kopach, Henning, Johnson, Steve Filer. He's on his way to Notre Dame next year. And then a very big and very active secondary. This might be, Kenny, the most physical defense in the state.
And I think it's led by number 44, Steve Filer. A lot of people think he may be the best high school football player in the entire country.
And if you get a chance to watch Stephen Filer make an open field tackler, I think he might be the best tackler in the state of Illinois in football. Little reverse run into the outside. This will go wide to the left side. I have a 1st down over the 40-yard line, down inside the 30. Still on his feet, inside the 10. Finally forced out of bounds. A big gain deep into Mount Carmel territory for St. Rita's Daniel Dispenza.
Boy, and once on that reverse, Dispenza, once he turned that corner, Jimmy, he really turned on the afterburners. Here it is again. Now watch, here's the reverse. Now watch Dispenza. They didn't see it coming. Look at the guys up front with the nice blocking up front. And once he gets around that corner, he follows that block and does a tremendous job of getting down the corner. And I tell you, look at Drew McGowan made the great block, number 83, to open him up.
40-yard run for Dispenza. Takes it down to the Mount Carmel 9-yard line. 1st and goal for St. Rita. Just under 9 minutes remaining here in the 1st quarter at Gately Stadium. Inside, Dullen And he'll force his way down to about the 6-yard line before he stops. So a gain of 3 on the play, bring up 2nd and goal from the 6.
Nothing fancy there, Jim. Just good old-fashioned smash mouth football going straight up the middle. But this is a really good defensive team by Mount Carmel.
Good old-fashioned Catholic League football right there. Just line them up, say go, and whoever,
let's see what we can do.
Whoever is the strongest wins that particular play. Well, Strachey is behind. And now a rollout by Kafka. Looks into the end zone. Everybody's covered. He has to tuck it under and run.
Wide
Has
open.
some room. Kafka into the end zone for a touchdown. St. Rita leads 6-0.
Boy, was there a hole there or what? He went out to roll out the pass, and there was nothing there. And all of a sudden, he noticed that hole, Jim, to his left, and he just took off and went into the end zone.
These teams, Kenny, on defense are so aggressive and they are so active that if there's something that is likely to work against both of them, it's when you get everybody going one way and then cut it back the other.
And that's the 3rd rushing touchdown for Kafka this season.
Flaherty is in to attempt the extra point. Daniel Schumacher is in to hold. Flaherty is kicking with the wind. High snap, and the set is down, and he hit the left upright.
Remember last year.
Last year, the kicking game was an adventure. So a 40-yard run by Dispenza sets up the touchdown run by Jason Kafka, 6-0 St. Rita.
As you can remember last year, Jim, point after touchdown was the key. In a game like this, every point is so crucial.
And that game went down to the wire in front of a packed house at St. Rita. Let's take a look at the touchdown again. Now watch, Kenny, this is a rollout pass play all the way, but everybody's covered. Great job by the Mount Carmel secondary. But
and then he'll just take off to the left. He saw
the Kafka.
Yeah, Kafka saw the wide opening to the left side and decided to take off. The secondary did a great job, but he saw that opening to the left and just took off and goes in for the touchdown.
A packed house here at Gately Stadium tonight to watch this battle between. There's so many ways to look at this game, Kenny. These are two of the powers in Illinois State high school football right now. These are two of the most storied programs in the Chicago Catholic League going back to when they started playing football. These are schools that aren't very far apart, that have had a great rivalry over the years. These are two teams with a lot of guys who have played football against each other for the last 12 years since they first put on a helmet.
Right, and 2 great coaches, 2 classy coaches.
In schools that are hanging state champion banners. That kick is again going to go into the end zone. So far tonight, just a huge night for Flaherty in the kickoff game because he's got 2 kicks and they've both gone into the end zone. Take a look at the officials for tonight. Tom Scraby, your referee. Dave Wetzel, the umpire. Mike Cunningham and Ed Carrick working the lines. And the back judge is Rob Pickert. 6-yard touchdown run was the cash-in play. And now Mount Carmel out for their 2nd try on offense. Bracken comes out wide to the left. Jordan Lynch under center. Lynch hands off up the middle, and there's absolutely nothing there. That play is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play for Tim Brown.
Absolutely nowhere for Brown to go.
We'll credit everybody on the St. Rita defensive tackle on that one because they were all there.
They were all there. Martin Hopkins led the way.
Kenny,
that defensive line is very quick off the ball for St. Rita.
I think just overall, these are the 2 biggest football teams, and particularly the 2 biggest defenses we have seen in the last couple of years.
When's the last time we saw a game where you had 2 guys, one from each school on defense going to Notre Dame?
Darius Fleming in his customary left end position. Quick throw out that was tipped and dropped. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. It threw off Bracken's timing for the catch just a hair, and it might have been Fleming who got a hand on it.
I think it looked like from here like it was Fleming to get the hand on it. Let's see it again right here. You'll see where it's tipped. It is tipped right there. It looked like it may have been Fleming, boy, but Bracken, you got to catch that, Jim. It threw his timing off just a little bit, but it's a catchable ball.
Well, he looked like he knew it had been tipped. He knew it was going to be a difficult catch, but the ball was fluttering just a little bit on his way to him. So that'll bring him 3rd down and 9 from the 21-yard line.
And, of course, it's easy for me to say it should have been caught. I'm sitting up here in the press box.
Bracken comes out to the left this time. Lynch Option play, turns it up, over the 30-yard line. He's smacked, but he takes it over to the 33, where he's brought down by Fleming, but a first down for Mount Carmel.
What a great call. What a great call. 3rd and 9, and he runs it on the option. You're thinking it's going to be a passing play. What a great play. Here it is again. He'll go all the way. This is option. Nothing there. He's just going to take it in. Watch the way he's get crushed here by Fleming and company, but the first down.
First down and 10, and officially on the 34-yard line for Mount Carmel.
That was just a great call.
And it was a great run by Lynch. Lynch, this time hands off, and Brown looked like he had a little bit of a hole, was tripped up at the line of scrimmage, and was brought down after a gain of about 2 on the play. So that's been the story of the game really for both teams. First down, you get about 2 yards.
Yeah, it looked like he had a little bit of a hole, but that hole closed up really quickly. Darius Flemings was so quick off the ball to close that hole up.
So Picard shuttles the play into the game, and Lynch makes the call. 6:23 remaining. 2nd down and 7 from the 37-yard line. Lynch gives to Brown. Looks like they might have had a little bit of a problem with the exchange. Everybody just falls forward, and it's going to be a gain of about 1.5 yards on the play.
Looked like he didn't want to hand it off.
It looked like he wanted to pull it out of there on the option, and then he had the ball grabbed away from him.
Yeah, here it is again. Let's see. It looks like he wants the option. You're going to put it in. Looked like he tried to pull it back.
Yeah,
see,
it did.
His arm got caught. You can see right there, great camera work by our camera crew. You can see his arm was caught.
Tell you what, Brown did a good job of hanging on to that football, Kenny.
Did a great job.
3rd down and 5 from the 39. Mount Carmel 1 out of 2 on 3rd down so far. Lynch will throw for it. That was tipped again. And then getting a hand on it before it fell to the turf was Brent Butler. So a second tip pass at the line of scrimmage by the St. Rita Mustang defense, and it will force Mount Carmel to punt it away for a 2nd time in a row.
Here it is again at St. Rita. They do such a great job jumping up. There you can see the tip, and there it just deflects just a little bit off the fingers of Brent Butler.
St. Rita drops their single safety back. Punt formation on 4th down and 5. Marciano is back to receive the kick. He's standing at 30. Low snap this time. Ball popped up into the air, gets caught up in the wind, and it is going to drop down and roll out of bounds at the Mount Carmel 48-yard line. So St. Rita has outstanding field position for their 2nd possession of the game, and they lead it 6-0. CN 100's coverage of high school football continues with a trip to the West Suburban Silver next week. Tune in Saturday, September 22nd at noon as the York Dukes host the Lyons Township Lions in Elmhurst. That's coming up next week on the CN 100 Game of the Week.
And that punt was only 9 yards. The wind just knocked that punt down.
Drew McGowan goes in motion, resets on the left side. Kafka fakes, now rolls to his left, looks, has a man open, got it up in the air, and McGowan couldn't hang on to it. It was a little bit high and outside, and McGowan couldn't grab it.
Boy, you can see McGowan's upset, Jim, because he thought he should have had that one. Here it is again now on the rollout, going over to your left, wide open. McGowan just a little bit high. You see, it looked like he stumbled also, but he's really upset because he felt there was nobody around him, and he thought that was a catchable ball.
2nd down and 10 from the Mount Carmel 47. St. Rita has had the ball one time. They took it downfield, scored on a 6-yard run by Kafka, but they did not get the extra point. It hit the left upright. And
they
mix up in the backfield, all sorts of problems in the backfield, and the man who made the big play on the opening drive to get 40 yards, Daniel Dispenza, just tackled in the backfield. It's going to be a loss of 8 yards on the play all the way back to the St. Rita 46.
Well, look at that, right off the exchange. They just run right into each other, and there's nowhere for him to go except for backwards. And, you know, they're going to work on that one, Jim. He just ran right into the quarterback.
Lawrence Henning making the tackle on the play. That is a huge play for the Caravan, because now you put St. Rita in 3rd down and long, because I'll tell you what, Kenny, where St. Rita had it in plus territory, you think, it might be a spot where maybe going with the wind, you go for it on 4th down.
But now you're 3rd and 15.
Now they need a big play. Kafka back to pass, has good protection. Mount Carmel drops into coverage. Completion out to the 40-yard line, then fumbled out of bounds, and they rule it incomplete.
Oh.
That was Matthew Lastrasio, for whom the pass was intended. He actually looked like he did some running with it, Kenny, but it ends up going out of bounds.
Here it is again. Plenty of time now. Well, he bobbles.
Yeah, he was juggling it the whole time. That's a good call.
That's a good call. Yeah, he's bobbling the ball. Good call.
And now for St. Rita, a punt with the win.
Never had possession. You have to have possession, and he didn't have possession. That's a great call by the officials.
Butler is back to receive the kick from Mount Carmel. Little fumble on the snap. Pretty good kick. Fair catch called for, and Butler will take it at the 17-yard line. So a little bit of an adventure on the punt by Mike LaMonica. But Butler handled it clean, and Mount Carmel now with 4:01 remaining in the first quarter. They will take possession again. They trail 6-0.
Like a heavyweight fight, Jim.
Yeah, a long way to go in this one. And, you know, Kenny, this game is going to be decided late when one line gets control of the game.
And you have two outstanding lines on each side of the ball for each team. Line play will be very crucial.
Lynch, again, the handoff going to Brown, and he'll carry it for 3 yards up to the 20-yard line. Bring up 2nd down and 7 from the 20-yard line. Stephen Atkinson coming up and making the tackle for St. Rita.
And there again, Jim, nothing fancy, just good old Catholic League football. Let's see if they open it up.
Butler and Picard shuttling in the plays. It's Picard that's in the game right now. Brown is left and Williams is right in the backfield. Williams gets the fake. Lynch takes the carry. He'll just gut it up inside and just keep his legs churning in spite of the fact that he was in a big pile of St. Rita defenders, and he actually, Kenny, carries it out just shy of the 25-yard line, where it's going to be workable down in distance for Mount Carmel, about 3rd and 2.
But Jim, watch the way he just keeps his feet moving. See right there, he's hit at the line of attack, but he just keeps moving and moving and moving and moving and moving. He just doesn't stop. He just keeps his feet moving.
He never went down.
And he never goes down. The whistle blows, but what a great job. And we've talked about this week in and week out, how the running backs, you're supposed to just keep your feet moving, moving, and moving.
It's a big series for Mount Carmel, because if they can pick up a first down here, even if they have to punt after the next series, St. Rita will have to turn around and go into the win. So Mount Carmel needs this first down. Lynch pitches. Brown has room. Right side has the first down over the 35-yard line. He's finally taken down at the 39. A big first down for Mount Carmel. A huge block for Justin Bracken on the outside.
Oh, what a great block there by Picard on the outside. What a great block. Well, watch this block on the outside, Jim. Watch Picard. Here it is. Now you pitch it back. Now right here. Watch this block right there. See the block there by Picard? He opens it up. First down, Caravan. What a great block by Picard.
And after they get the clock running after the reset of the chains, 2:20 now and running remaining in the first quarter. New set of downs for Mount Carmel. Lynch, hands off, and just not much in the middle of the field that time. Maybe a gain of about a yard on the play. We'll give it to him, called 2nd down and 9.
Boy, what a great job of pursuit by Mr. Fleming.
You know, and that's the thing on that fake by Lynch 2 plays ago. It's like you have to, on that option, you've got to hold the ball until Fleming's ready to smack you.
And then you take that shot by Fleming, you will know you were hit.
Well, officially, it was no gain on the play. So 2nd down and 10 from the 39 with 1:41 remaining here in the first quarter. Lynch pitches, and driven into the backfield is Williams, and he's taken down for a loss on the play. And that was Dave Marciano coming up from his safety spot, making the tackle, and it's going to be a loss all the way back to the Mount Carmel 36-yard line.
And here's Marciano coming up from the safety spot, Jim. He bounces off of him, but what does he do so well? He grabs that ankle. He just won't let him go.
And I'll tell you right now, Kenny, that if I'm Mount Carmel, well, you know, a minute left, Rita's not going to get the win for that long. So you do have the option of throwing it here. I was going to say, if you run it, you'll run out the clock. And you at least make St. Rita go into the win.
Well, 3rd and 13, I think they probably will throw it.
And they spread it out on 3rd down. 3rd down and 13. Lynch comes up, throws, Rainbow down the sideline, and caught, and incomplete, out of bounds.
Oh.
That was Butler going up to get it, but he came down out of bounds. That was a great throw
by Lynch, and a great catch, but Butler comes down out of bounds.
Look, what a great throw by Lynch. Watch Butler. Look at the time, Jim. Great time, shows a great arm, but unfortunately, Butler's out of bounds. It goes up, shows great athleticism, but he's out of bounds.
Yeah, and he wasn't forced out, Kenny. He came down out of bounds.
Came down out. Boy, what a throw.
A big-time play all the way around. Unfortunately, it goes for nothing. 4th down and 13. Caravan punt. And that's a pretty good punt into the wind. Fair catch called for. Dropped on the turf. The Caravan have the football in St. Rita territory, and in just a few moments, they'll get to flip around and go with the win. 34 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
And that Jordan Morgan.
Jordan Morgan, the tight end, recovered.
Game of big plays.
It was turnovers last year that determined the game in St. Rita's favor.
Well, the wind just took it. He called for the fair catch, and the wind just takes it. And then all of a sudden, he has to run up a couple of yards, touches it, and Morgan comes up with the recovery.
24-yard punt officially. The wind is a huge factor in this game for 2 reasons. Number 1, for when you put it in the air. But number 2, it's picking up out of the north, and it's going to get colder and colder as the game goes on. And we have an official's timeout. And a discussion with Frank Lenti, oddly enough. Oh, the get-back guy, Mark Kruger, tells us it's a sideline warning. The get-back guy not doing his job.
Now they take a full timeout.
34 seconds remaining in the first quarter. There you get a look at the flagpole. Now, as you look at the flag, you're looking downwind, so you're looking going south, and that is where the wind is howling right now out of the north. It's supposed to get down underneath 40 degrees tonight. It's supposed to get downright chilly, Kenny.
It's chilly now.
You know, and that's the thing. This is, to me, this is the opening night of the high school football season. You look at the people, the way they're dressed, got a little chill in the air. You've got 2 big rivals going at it on the field.
10,000 people crammed into the stadium.
Well, yeah, should we tell the story now about how Southside Tommy Bonin saved me?
Yeah,
about an hour ago?
Go ahead.
I was stuck out there on 103rd Street. I was going nowhere. But I was smart because one time before in a similar situation, I called somebody and said, hey, I'm stuck. Come get my car, park it, and, you know, I'll run into the stadium. We'll be all right. Everything was fine. He gets to my car, and he goes, I don't know how to drive a stick. So at least this time I was smart enough before we called for the cavalry. I was like, hey, you got to send somebody out here that knows how to drive a stick.
Well, thank goodness Tommy Bonin.
Yeah, does it surprise you that Tom can drive a stick?
And he got you here in time.
Best field position in the game for Mount Carmel. 34 seconds remaining in the quarter. They have it on the St. Rita 48, 1st and 10 after the muff punt. Lynch carries, keeps, turns it up inside. Boy, he just gets absolutely drilled by Stoklosa.
And Mr. Fleming down low.
And you also had Hopkins in the tackle. I'm telling you what, you got some big cats in that St. Rita defense. Both teams content to let the clock run with 14 seconds remaining in the first quarter. So the clock is going to run out. We're going to flip around, and then Mount Carmel will go with the wind in the second quarter.
And Jim, I can't say enough about how impressed I am by Fleming.
Yeah.
Because he has been all over the field.
You know, a lot of times you hear about these guys and you're like, okay, the hype doesn't quite match the player. Well, I'm telling you what, so far in this game, that has not been the case. This has been an outstanding quarter of football here at Gately Stadium. St. Rita leads Mount Carmel 6-0. We're back with the second quarter after this quick timeout on CN 100's High School Game of the Week.
You're watching the Comcast Network, CN 100, Chicago.
We are back at a packed Gately Stadium on Chicago's South Side. Jim Blaney along with Kenny McReynolds and Mark Kruger. This is the CN 100 High School Game of the Week, and it very well might be the game of the year. St. Rita against Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel ran, really they had a good first quarter, Kenny. From this standpoint, they ran 16 offensive plays.
Which is very good.
So they didn't let St. Rita get a lot of plays with the wind. Lynch back to throw with the wind, goes down the sideline. That's way too much club as he goes down the sideline looking for Bracken. So
or maybe a little bit of push from the wind because that ball had a lot of flight on it. Yeah, you're right. 16 plays to only 7 for St. Rita, but St. Rita, they hold
St. Rita
a 6-point lead
on one of those 7
yes.
plays. And they hold a 6-0 lead. Well, you know what, Kenny, going to get a little chilly tonight, and I would have to expect these are two teams that are going to be playing when it really gets chilly in November. St. Rita defending state champs. Mount Carmel lost in the title game last year. 1 out of 4 throwing the football so far for Lynch. He's in a passing situation here on 3rd down and 8. Has Butler out to the right. Swings the pass out. What a beautiful throw. That's Brown going down the sideline and forced out of bounds. He will have a Mount Carmel first down.
What a beautiful pass. Saw the safety coming up.
I'm going to tell you something, Kenny. You can have strong-arm high school quarterbacks all you want, but if a kid can make this throw right here.
Off the safety coming up, and you get your guy
Beautiful
coming out
throw.
the backfield, and there's nothing but green AstroTurf in front of you. Marciano's coming up. They saw him, and then you go to a little screen pass. You pick up the first down. Great throw, great execution.
First down and 10 for Mount Carmel from the St. Rita 33-yard line. Brown in the backfield with Williams right now. This is Brown getting the carry, goes right side. He was just hogtied as he ran by Martin Hopkins, and then the rest of the St. Rita defense comes to help out. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, that's a great play there by Hopkins to just slow him down. He didn't stop him, but he grabbed him enough to slow him down until he was able to get help. Here it is again. Now watch 44 near White. Watch Hopkins. He'll just come into your screen right here, so he'll grab him and slow him down until the help comes. And it really could have been a face mask.
Yeah.
That was extremely close to being a face mask call.
Might have gotten away with it, but he did the job, slowed it down, and let the help arrive. 2nd down and 10 coming up. Brown, 6 carries. He's only gained 2 yards. It's just awfully tough running inside. Lynch turns it back upfield and actually gets down to the 29-yard line for a gain of 4 yards before he is pulled down from behind. That was Stephen Atkinson coming up and making the tackle.
Boy, yardage very difficult to come by tonight on both sides of the ball.
But Mount Carmel has a nice drive going here. They were helped out by a muffed punt. St. Rita had them stopped. And Mount Carmel 3 out of 5 now on 3rd down. 3rd down here. 3rd down and 6 coming up from the 29. Bracken comes out to the right. Williams is the lone back in the backfield. And Lynch wants to do it himself. Spins away from the first man. Can't get away from Hopkins. He'll carry back to the 29-yard line. And Kenny, the question becomes, is this a spot where you go for it on 4th down?
Well, he was able to spin away from Darius Fleming. Here it is again. He'll go back, drop back, decide to keep it. See, he'll spin away from Fleming, but there's Hopkins who brings him down once again kind of high. But Jim, you're 4th and 6, the ball on the 29-yard line.
Yeah, I think this is a spot where you go for it. You have a great defense. You have St. Rita going into the win. I think this is absolutely the right call to go for it here on 4th down.
No question. And now the huge Caravan crowd getting up on his feet.
Brown and Williams in the backfield. Lynch fakes the handoff, looks to throw, slant pass, has it. First down and maybe more, down inside the 5-yard line. First down Mount Carmel after the catch by Brent Butler. He's down to the 6-yard line, so now the Caravan knocking on the door and looking to tie it up.
Well, once again, another big play. This has been a game of big plays, a 23-yard reception. Here it is again. Now he'll go, watch it, go out of the slant, drop back. He just slant right there going towards the post, and just a great catch, a spin move there by Butler, who gets the first down inside the 10.
That actually might have been a better throw that he did throw it behind him, Kenny. It got him to turn around and head back away from the pursuit. So even though the throw wasn't out in front of him, it actually worked out pretty well.
Yeah, great spin move by Butler.
First down and goal for the 7 from Mount Carmel. Lynch, hands off. Williams, touchdown Mount Carmel. Game is tied at 6-6. So now the Caravan can take the lead if they can convert the extra point.
Boy, he walks in. Williams walks in untouched. What a great job by the offensive line. You could have driven a Mack truck through that hole. And we're in the press box with the 7 Mount Carmel coaches, and they are extremely happy. A happy group of young men.
A.J. Nichols is in to attempt the extra point. And this point, remember, is going dead downwind. That kick is up, and that's plenty high enough, and it is good. So Mount Carmel, they get a break on a muff punt. They take advantage of it. They take it downfield. They score a touchdown. They lead 7-6.
Well, he kicked that ball on 103rd Street.
Not tough to do going that way.
Although St. Rita missed the point going that way. Here it is again, Jim. Watch the hope. Look at the offensive line. Look at it. He goes in untouched. Look at the offensive line. What a great job they did of getting down low, and he goes in untouched. Look at it again from the high angle. And look at the guys up front. You talk about a big, strong offensive line. He goes in without being touched.
Edwin Williams getting the touchdown for Mount Carmel, and the Caravan student body enjoying a 7-6 lead.
Boy, that's the scoring drive. 8 plays, 48 yards. It took 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Capped off, of course, by Williams with the touchdown run.
7 yards on the touchdown run. And now St. Rita will get a chance to go into the win for the first time tonight. Nichols to kick. Nichols with the wind, and he drives it into the end zone. And remember, in high school football, it's an automatic touchback. You can't run it out from the end zone. Let's take a look at St. Rita's schedule as they try and repeat. They come in undefeated. Big winners over Simeon, rolled over De La Salle, pounded Leo last week. But look at this stretch, Kenny. Mount Carmel tonight. Providence is always very good. Loyola is back. They are playing some great football this year. And then Fenwick and Brother Rice. That is an incredibly difficult schedule.
Boy, no off weeks. There are no off weeks in the St. Rita schedule.
St. Rita's worst field position of the game so far, because Mount Carmel has had to punt into the wind. And St. Rita is going to try and run it out of there. And that'll be a gain of about 4 yards before the hit was made on the play by Lawrence Henning, number 40.
Boy, and Lawrence Henning really put a pop in on him.
DeMarcus Dullen getting the carry. And officially a gain of 4 on the play, so it will be 2nd down and 6.
As we take a look at that outstanding defense team from Mount Carmel, led by Stephen Filer.
Daniel O'Neill comes out wide to the left. You know, everybody in this Rita team is tall, too. O'Neill at 6'3" there on the outside.
It's like a base basketball team.
Kafka, hands off, Dullen right side, and boy, not much there. Just tripped up at the line of scrimmage as he started to make his move. Jeremy Johnson, number 43, in an attack. Well, Kenny, got to tell you a quick story. You know, I had my sheet, my lineup from last year, and I used it as a little bit of reference. Yeah. Here's something interesting. A lot of these guys on Mount Carmel, they shrunk from last year. They got shorter. Guys who were 6'3" last year are listed at 6'2". Guys who were 5'10" were 5'9".
Well, you know, with age, you get a little short.
Yeah, you know what starts to happen.
Yep.
You get a little shorter.
I used to be 6'8".
Matthew Quinn comes out wide to the left on 3rd down and 5. Kafka rolls out to his left. He's looking downfield from Quinn. He was about to load it up and let it fly, and he got smacked by Kopak.
Kopak from the blind side. He never saw him coming.
The ankle looked okay on that one.
Boy, Kopak came from the blind side, your outside linebacker. Here's your big hit right here now. See, he doesn't see him coming. Nobody blocks him. Oh, boy, I tell you, your right guard and tackle. You got to give me some help, baby. Got to help me. Here it is again, a big hit. My goodness.
Caravan figuring to get pretty good field position out of this, as now St. Rita will have to punt into the wind. Butler back to receive the kick.
That had to be every linebacker's dream.
Oh, and the quarterback has never even seen it. A little bit of time getting the punt off. It's short, into the wind. Fair catch called for. Butler grabs onto it. And that was an adventure, but he pulls it in at the 41-yard line. So for Mount Carmel now, 1st down and 10 for the St. Rita 41-yard line. Now, the Mount Carmel schedule, they have really the same thing looking at them. St. Rita this week, Brother Rice next week. That's at Brother Rice, and that's probably the game of the year for Brother Rice. Yep. Then De La Salle, and then at Loyola. So both of these teams, incredibly difficult schedules, but Kenny, they have the personnel to run the table. They really do. They're that good.
And if you want to be the best, you play the best.
Lynch, hands off. This time it's the first man through. Williams, he'll take it all the way. 41 yards, touchdown Mount Carmel. 2nd touchdown of the game for Williams.
Again, the guys up front, they open their hole, and Williams just takes off.
You have a hard time right now in this stadium telling who is more stunned, the St. Rita fans or the Mount Carmel fans. That's how quickly Williams got into the end zone.
My goodness, that offensive line again did a great job opening up the holes. Williams does one quick stiff arm and he goes. He's gone.
The lead right now, 13-6. Nichols is in to try and extend it. Nichols puts it up, and that kick is good. 14-6 Mount Carmel. So it was almost like watching Ali with the rope-a-dope. They kind of took the body blows there in the first quarter when they didn't have the wind in their favor. And then as soon as they were able to flip around and go the other way, they've stuck it in the end zone 2 times.
You really can't say enough about the job of the offensive line, Jim. Doing such a great job. Watch the guys up front. They do such a wonderful job, boy. Once he gets the ball, looks like he fumbled it just a little bit. But Williams brings it up, and boy, he's gone. He just outruns everybody. There's nobody near him. And Williams takes off for, what, a 41-yard touchdown run? It's unbelievable. He like brings the ball up, like a little stiff arm, moves. Does a little stiff arm, a la Walter Payton, and he's just off to the races.
He should run like that, wearing number 34. He's not that big of a guy, 5'8", Kenny. He doesn't have that long of a stride, but he has a beautiful stride. That was just a great job of running.
Yeah, and that was Stephen Atkinson who gets the stiff arm, and Williams just takes off.
6:33 remaining in quarter number 1. Let me guess, 1 play, 41 yards. The only thing, time of possession, 8 seconds.
8 seconds.
So Mount Carmel, their last 2 drives, have covered 48 and 41 yards. They have gotten fantastic field position, and they have taken advantage of it. They've had 3 big breaks in this game, Kenny. Good field position the last 2 times. They also had the muff punt on the previous drive. But breaks mean nothing if you don't cash in on them, and the Caravan have done exactly that.
That's what a good team will do.
A low, penetrating kick that will certainly go into the end zone, and that's the idea there. Kick it low, get the wind behind it, make sure it goes out of bounds. And I'm going to be willing to bet that every member of the Mount Carmel student body is here.
Well,
here's the thing, Kenny.
If they're not.
Walking into the stadium tonight, I saw Morgan Park jerseys.
Yes.
I saw a ton of Mount Carmel jerseys. I saw Brother Rice jerseys. I saw a Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin jersey. I mean, it is amazing the people that have come out for this game tonight.
This is where you want to be.
McGowan goes in motion for St. Rita. They're now overloaded to the right. Pitch into the backfield and around the right side, and just nothing there for Dispenza.
Well, Jimmy, we always talk about a great job of pursuit. That time you have to get a Caravan a lot of credit. What a wonderful job of pursuit by those young men wearing the brown jerseys.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 coming up. Boy, I'll tell you what, this is a big series here for St. Rita, because if you don't get at least a 1st down here, you are handing the ball back to Mount Carmel. They have a ton of time.
And a ton of momentum.
McGowan at 6'5", 240 is wind up wide to the left. Kafka in the shotgun, has Dullen back there with him, fakes the handoff, he'll keep it, he'll go right side, has some positive yardage, carries it out to the 28-yard line. So he's going to get it out to where at least St. Rita has a workable down and distance at 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, a little bit of working room there for St. Rita. Fakes the handoff, decides to keep him himself. Gets just a little bit of room to work with now. So you're 3rd and 3.
I'm going to tell you right now, most important play of the first half, right here. Rita needs a 1st down desperately just to keep the clock rolling. 5:09 remaining. Mount Carmel leads at 14-6. Kafka again in the shotgun. Kafka keeps it himself, runs up the middle, has a 1st down. He's over the 35-yard line, out to the 38, and a big play by Kafka to keep the St. Rita drive alive.
Well, I'd like to see that one again, because it looked to me like Kafka may have moved. Did he move a little bit before the snap?
Yeah, a little quarterback thing that they get away with.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah, not bad enough, though, for a flag. Not bad enough for a flag.
Glenn Foster, who's on his way to the University of Illinois, making the tackle. And now St. Rita will see if they can do anything with this drive now. 4:47 remaining in the quarter.
You're right.
They have a little room.
That was the biggest play of the half for the Mustangs.
Because Mount Carmel would have had a ton of time and outstanding field position. Kafka, 3rd time in a row, he'll run. He has lots of blocking. He has some room. Takes it to the outside. He's over midfield, and he steps out of bounds. First down, St. Rita, just barely inside Mount Carmel territory.
And why not? He came into this ball game averaging 10.8 yards per carry. Here it is again, second time in a row, just on a quarterback keeper out of the shotgun. And I tell you, now you can see why he's been averaging almost 11 yards per carry.
12 out of 27 throwing the football coming into this game. He's being looked at by Purdue, Colorado, Kansas State, and Northern Illinois, but nobody's really too sure whether they want him to be a quarterback or a receiver. He might be a better receiver. You saw how well he runs with the ball. Ball is right on the midfield stripe. Kafka, hands off. Dullen, he has some room on the left side. He's over the 45-yard line, and he's dragged down at the 42. Gain of 8 on the play, and St. Rita now starting to roll on offense.
Well, they're starting to run the ball. The offensive line opening up holes. That's 3 consecutive times they've run the ball. They've done a good job of opening up holes for the runners. Quarterback twice. This time he handed off to his running back.
Tom Bonin pointing out that with Mount Carmel lining up 3-4, that if you can delay it just a little bit and run the draws, you can usually have some effectiveness. That's what they've done. The shotgun is working, so St. Rita sticks with it. Kafka, he'll run it. Left side, cuts it back. He has a first down, and he's down to the 37-yard line before he's taken down. Tackle on the play made by Jeremy Johnson.
Boy, he only needed a couple, Jim, and he comes away with another big play. The running game has been working.
Let me point out the danger to this, though, Kenny. You've got your quarterback running around down there, and you've got some big, nasty people from Mount Carmel, and if they get a shot,
they're going to take it.
They're going to take it. But the way this is going, you know, you're going to have the quarterback fake draw coming here pretty soon, and we get a timeout called. And St. Rita will call timeout with 3:22 remaining here in the first quarter. And the St. Rita guys, they want their fans up on their feet. They've been sitting over there on their hands a little bit because Mount Carmel, after falling behind 6-0, 2 consecutive touchdowns and 2 consecutive possessions, they lead at 14-6. All right, this worked so well, Kenny. The first game we did together. It is time for our CN100 Game of the Week trivia. Question: Can you name the 3 Mount Carmel grads that are currently playing in the NFL?
Besides Donovan McNabb?
And I'm going to add a bonus question because I saw, can you name the Mount Carmel grad that I saw on TV last night? Well, there's one of them. Boy, I got 2.
Okay.
I know 2 of them.
Simeon Rice, one.
The third one I'm not getting.
McNabb is the second.
Andy's telling me there's the second player.
Hey, how are you, girls and gentlemen?
All right, we'll have the answer for you a little bit later on, and I'll have the answer for the bonus question. I know you're not going to get the bonus question because you don't watch TV.
Correct.
First down and 10 from the 38-yard line. Kafka, and that was just a little bit long. He was trying to get it to Dispenza, and he reached out and tipped it, and that was very nearly picked off.
Here it is again, but look, this could have been 6. Look at this, Jim, right here. You come up. If he catches this right there, it's 6 the other way, but he slips.
Okay, now I'm really upset, Kenny, because I can't come up with the third one.
I'm thinking the third one also. We know Simeon Rice just signed. McNabb, of course. I can't think of the third one.
Andy showed the Browns blanket because Simeon Rice is in Kansas City now, right?
He just signed.
Kafka, and he's taken down at the 37-yard line. Well, you know what? Some of these guys are going to be answers to that trivia question down the road of playing in the NFL. That was Anthony Battle attack with a junior 6'2", 215. Clock rolling now. 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter. You know what? Sacco's down the road from this. He's probably laughing at us. I'm sure he knows.
Nice tackle by Battle. Only a gain of 1.
Third down and 9. One out of 3 for St. Rita on this drive, third down. They send O'Neal and Quinn out to the right. Kafka in the shotgun. Got a little Jerry Glanville red gun look here. Kafka throws, and that pass hit Lawrence Henning in the back of the head. And St. Rita is going to have to punt into the wind.
Well, he threw it behind an intended receiver, DeMarcus Dullen. So now,
and Mount Carmel has some time, and they have 2 timeouts remaining. Boy, you know, I don't know, Kenny. In a way, I'd be real tempted to
go for it. I would too.
Drive started at the 20-yard line.
St. Rita only had 10 men. Okay, now they have the 11th man on
They
the
get the
field.
11th guy in there because the Mount Carmel coaches were wondering about maybe the quarterback was coming back out, but they are in punt formation. And that kick into the wind, straight up in the air, knocked down, and the key thing for the Mount Carmel guys, get away from it. That's a good kick. Going to roll dead at the 5-yard line. So Mount Carmel, they have the win, but they have 95 yards to cover in 2 minutes, 10 seconds.
Really good bounce.
Let's take a look back to 1 year ago. Well, I take that back. These are the current standings, sorry. And both teams undefeated. One team will be undefeated at the end of tonight. Both teams undefeated in the league, but again, both teams expected to be around when we're playing late in November.
And hopefully a little warmer later in November.
It won't be.
It's cold.
The last time we were here was for a public league playoff game. Can you remember how cold it was?
Yes.
It's the 3rd week in November, I believe. Man, it was cold. And then the Prep Bowl 2 weeks later, it was 65 degrees. Deep in their own end, Mount Carmel. Lynch at quarterback.
Just hand it off.
Yeah, pound out a first down, maybe the goal here. Brown spins, carries, and he crawls his way all the way out to the 15-yard line. He's going to be just short of the first down.
What a nice individual effort by Brown.
And Lynch, is that Lynch down on the field?
Is it Ramos?
Yeah, the coaches are saying that it is Joe Ramos, the senior, 6', 250 offensive lineman.
Right tackle.
Watch for number 74.
Do we see where he goes down?
He's right in the middle.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Wow, he had a guy underneath him.
Yep, guy under him. But what a nice individual effort, though, out of the backfield. Yes, he had a guy under him. Maybe an ankle.
You know, Kenny, we were talking about how a lot of these players have played against each other a long time and through the years, but a lot of these guys, Kenny, played together. Their grammar school football is they were making their way to these 2 schools that are, you know, just icons in the South Side. And what is always amazing about these 2 schools is the loyalty that people who went there feel toward these 2 schools.
My brother went to St. Rita, so he is a real big St. Rita man.
And I mean, even though I grew up in Chicago Heights, I knew a lot of kids that lived in our area that went to Mount Carmel because you just jump on the IC and go to Mount Carmel. There were a lot of kids out in that area, Homewood, Flossmoor, Chicago Heights, that went to Mount Carmel. 2nd down and 1 from the 14. The Caravan will keep it on the ground. They have the first down. Well, how's that for strength by Lynch in that play? He was tackled from behind, but threw a man off his back and then got the first down.
Wanted to make sure he gets the first down, and that's what he wanted to do, and keeps that clock running once they set the chains.
1:26 remaining now, so.
Well, how strong is he, Jim? You talked about just throw a man off of him. Here it is again.
Watch this.
He'll just like, hey, excuse me,
just
sir.
Get off of me. And that was Stephen Atkinson.
I got my first down, excuse me. Did he open one up now, you know, with the
No,
wind?
man. I keep this thing on the ground, and I take my 14-6 lead in at the half. And that's a carry over the right side to about the 27-yard line. You know, Mount Carmel is doing actually a very nice job in this drive. I mean, they were back at their own 5-yard line. All they wanted to do was just keep grinding it out and run out some clock and get into the locker room with a 14-6 lead, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Just keep it on the ground.
And if you're St. Rita, you don't want to burn timeouts and let them potentially throw it with the wind at their back.
See, I'm a big play type of guy. I take one big shot. Although I know you're right and you shouldn't do it.
I am Mr. Run the ball, stop the run. So I'm watching this drive, Kenny, and I'm looking at it as a thing of beauty. Lynch, he's back to throw. High percentage pass, completes to Brown. He's out to the 40, and he will step out of bounds at the 46.
Brown comes out of the backfield. Nobody there. He talked about high percentage. It's a very high percentage when nobody's guarding you. Right here, he's just standing there by himself coming out the backfield. There you see Brown, and he has daylight in front of him and picks up another first down for Mount Carmel.
Second time in the game we've seen a face mask that didn't get called. And they had to reset the clock.
20. Well, there's 18 on the clock, but the coaches are saying 20. And the officials pointing up saying 20.
Now, based on the way this game has gone, I'm going to tell you, Kenny, you wouldn't guess this. Lynch in the game 4 out of 7 for 58 yards. And again, that was a really nice throw.
That's Coach Kuska.
Are they saying 20? No, they put 20. I thought the referee was saying 24, but they put 2 seconds back on the clock to 20. I'll tell you what, Kenny, if I could run a similar type of play, get about 10 more yards, then I might try and pitch it into the end zone. Lynch decides to key. Oh, gee, thanks a lot. Brown's going to be happy about that one. Throws, that's picked off. Picked off by the Mustangs. Inside the 50. To the 40, still on his feet. This is Dispenza. He may take this thing in. Dispenza inside the 10. Touchdown, St. Rita. A gadget play backfires in the Caravan. And St. Rita now, if they can make a 2-point conversion, they'll be tied at the half.
Well, we had talked about not making a big throw and a big play because you don't want to make the turnover at the end of the half. That's exactly what happened.
Daniel Dispenza, he had a 40-yard reception on the opening drive of the game that set up the St. Rita touchdown. He comes up with a monster pick here and runs it in for a touchdown.
My goodness. What a play. What a play. Well, he had blocking down the sidelines, and then he decided to cut back to the left. Dispenza with the touchdown.
Mount Carmel calls timeout prior to the extra point. There is no time on the clock, so this is a point after that will come after the clock has expired here in the second half.
Well, here it is again, Jim. You gotta get the pitch out. Then, boy, he slipped. He throws it up for grabs. Boy, you throw that up, Brown throws that up. And boy, watch the blocking though. Down the sideline, then he'll cut to the left. After the block right there, once he cuts to his left, it's good night. It is goodbye. Untouched.
The problem, Kenny, with calling that play is the running back is going to throw it no matter what. Because that is their chance to throw the football, and Brown would have been well served just to fall down right there.
But once Dispenza cut to that left, did a great job of picking up the block.
And remember, Mount Carmel was doing such a marvelous job in that drive of what we thought was just running out the clock.
Tom, how long was that return?
60-yard return.
Another timeout call. Well, a lot of timeouts with no time on the clock.
64 yards on the return. And you know what, Kenny?
Let's look at it from another angle. See, now here's Brown. Boy, you may want to fall on that.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go. He puts it up, and boy, right to the center. But see, now watch, he picks up the blocking, Jim, but watch when he cuts to the left. He picks up the blocking down the sideline, and he'll cut left. And once he cuts to the left, he just outruns everybody, and he scores. Just a tremendous job, and what great speed by Dispenza.
This is for the tie.
St. Bede.
Dolan is in the eye. They've got some beef in front of them. Kids, there's no secret to what's going to happen here.
They need to.
Kafka is the quarterback. Kafka's going to roll out. Runs out of time, and he'll be pulled down to the ground by Lawrence Henning. So huge. Still, no matter how you slice it, even though that extra point try did not work, St. Rita right back in a game that once we got past the middle of the first quarter, Mount Carmel was really dominating, Kenny.
Yes. Yeah, Mount Carmel did a great job dominating that half, especially the second quarter, Jim, both offensively and defensively. But that was a huge play right there by the Caravan defense, stopping St. Rita from getting in for the 2-point conversion. That was a huge play.
And that guy right there, had 2 huge plays in the first half, a 40-yard reception for Daniel Dispenza and then a 64-yard interception return for a touchdown. Just amazing. Honest to goodness, Kenny, Mount Carmel, I really think, had St. Rita on the ropes in that first half, and St. Rita's right back in it. Let's go downstairs. Here's Mark Kruger.
Thank you very much. Here with Coach Lente. Coach, comment on that last play, the turnover there.
Well, you know what? We were looking at the halfback pass. Our deep guy was wide open. We just got flushed and we threw the ball short. The defensive coaches just said to me, Coach, don't second guess yourself. If it was a right call, the deep guy was wide open. We just didn't get him the ball.
3 out of the 4 touchdowns coming with the wind. How much of a factor will that be in the second half?
You know what? It's always going to be a factor. Exactly that reason, Mark. Because of the wind, it forces you to do and be unable to do some certain things. So, we'll take the ball the second half. I'm sure they're going to kick with the wind. So we'll just have to see if we can overcome their onslaught and then put the thing back in our favor.
You having fun?
So far, all the pressure's on them. They're number one, man. That's why I told the kids, play loose, play fast, and have a ball.
Thanks for your time. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Jim, back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you so much. And you know what? If you want to be critical to play calling, go ahead. But you know what? Frank Lenny was trying to get his guys to make a play. And it's for the kids anyway, and the kids are playing pretty good on both sides so far. Mount Carmel leads St. Rita 14-12 at the half at the CN100 high school game of the week.
You're watching the Comcast Network, CN100 Chicago.
And you know what? If you're going to play football and say, okay, I'm going to eliminate all the bad things that can happen, well, you know what? You're going to run off tackle 60 times a game.
Yep.
And you're not going anywhere.
And I like the way he said, I'm not going to second guess it.
And if I would have told you going into this game, all right, it's going to be 14-12 at the half, you'd say, all right, yeah, that makes sense. These are 2 pretty evenly matched teams.
Yep.
Now, that being said, 2 things that were key in that half. Turnovers. St. Rita muffed a punt. Mount Carmel cashed in and scored a touchdown. Mount Carmel throws a pick. St. Rita runs it back for a touchdown. The other thing is field position. And except for the interception, all the scoring came with the win in that first half. There is the man of the hour, Dispenza. He's back to receive. Will he get a chance with the win? And the answer is no. He's in the end zone. Touchback. St. Rita, they will be going into the wind here in the third quarter. So I'm going to tell you right now, if St. Rita can get out of this quarter in the position they're in now, they have a really good chance of winning this football game.
And all you need, Jim, is a chance. That's
right.
what you want at the end of the game, is just a chance.
And if either one of these teams, St. Rita now here in the third quarter or Mount Carmel coming up in the fourth quarter, the team that can ground out a few first downs into the wind, likely to be the team that's going to win this football game.
Let's see if St. Rita stays with the running game. No yards passing.
They do stay with the shotgun. Kafka, he'll run it, tries to go straight up the middle, nothing there. Bounces it to the outside, has a little bit of room, but it's closing up quickly, and he gets smoked. After picking up about 2 yards to the 22, that'll bring up second down and 8.
You know what, Jim? That's great recognition, I think, by Jason, because he runs right up the middle and just runs right into his own man. He saw there was absolutely nothing there, decided to break it out to the right side. He only picked up 2, but I think that's great recognition because he saw there was nothing up the middle, stops, and goes to the outside.
Like grinding coffee is what you got to do on offense here when you're going into the wind. 6 carries, 43 yards for Kafka so far in this game. Second down and 8 from the 22. Long count. Kafka, he keeps. May have missed the handoff to Dillon, spun around and just dropped. That's going to be a loss of 1 back to the 21-yard line. And Lawrence Henning, who has been incredibly active so far in this game, comes in and makes the initial hit while Jeremy Johnson, number 43, cleans up.
Yeah, Jeremy Johnson wasn't going to let him go anywhere, Jim. He was right there to clean it up. So they've been working the running game. They've been staying with it, but now you're 3rd and 9.
3rd down and 9 from their own 21-yard line. And Mount Carmel, if they can get a stop here, looking at getting incredible field position. McGowan is out to the left. We have 4 wides in the game.
And they're going to rush 3. Okay, here comes the outside.
Kafka back to throw. Mount Carmel playing coverage. Man open, and that is going to be pass interference.
Yep.
First down, St. Rita.
Playing a man open.
Pass was intended for Gerald Ponio, and it just he had beaten his man. He had gotten behind him, and the only thing he could do that was just basically dive at him. You don't want to get a touchdown, but it does give a first down and pretty good field position now for St. Rita.
Yeah, but it's not a touchdown. Here it is again, and the pass is intended for Ponio. And you know what? And the only thing you can do is just bring him down. But that is not a touchdown. So you know what? We'll take that.
Ball's at the 36, first down and 10. They stay with essentially the 4-wide formation, except for the fact McGowan out wide to the left is listed as a tight end. Long count, and St. Rita gets 5 free yards.
Yep.
Foul, encroachment, defense.
And it is a need against Mount Carmel. You know what? That is a great play in this situation, Kenny. You're into the wind. You're just trying to get some yardage.
Long snap.
Now you have first down and 5.
Yep.
McGowan comes out to the left. Ponio is in the slot to the left. Kafka, he'll keep it, has a hole over the right side, spins over the middle, he's across the 45, and then he's turned around and spun down by Filer at the 46-yard line.
Well, we haven't said much about Steve Filer, but we know one thing. He's an outstanding linebacker, and this young man's going to play at Notre Dame, and he showed his speed right there. Here it is again. Now you got to keep it. Now watch Filer. Boy, he does a great job. Didn't he?
Nice
spin move. But here's Filer, brings him down, checks him down. Great job of lateral movement by Filer.
And that will be a first down for St. Rita just across the St. Rita 46-yard line. So they have picked up 2 first downs on this opening drive of the second half. 1 by penalty and 1 by that run.
How quick is Filer?
Yeah, I really hope we get a chance to see him make an open field tackle tonight, Kenny, because he's textbook.
He's going to stay in the shotgun.
First down and 10. 3 minutes burned off the clock so far by St. Rita. Kafka has all sorts of room on the right side. He's hit at the 45-yard line, but it's after a gain of 9 yards.
A nice little hop, skip, and a jump there, too, right before he's hit. Look at the game. Boy, he just takes off, Jim. Look at the blocking. All sorts of room. Here's a little hop right there. Hops right up to the 45-yard line before he's brought down. And I tell you what, they've done a great job running the football.
Jeremy Johnson making the tackle. They're actually going to measure this to see if he might have gotten the first down. He is close. And going to be short by about 9 inches.
That much. Missed it by that much.
Now, and this is where you really get an indication of the mind of a coach. Here you've got second down and about a foot. All right, what do? You got 2 shots. You really have 3 shots at it to pick up 9 yards or 9 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Do you take one right here and maybe see if you can pitch it downfield? You are going into the wind. It's going to be a tough throw if you do.
No, I think we just sneak it in. Get the 9 inches.
Now here's where you and I disagree. I would try something here. I'd call something safe.
And I'm a big play type of guy.
Drive started on the St. Rita 20-yard line. They have now moved it to the Mount Carmel 44-yard line. Dolan resets. Kafka back to pass. Taking a look. Here comes the pressure over the middle and incomplete. Knocked away at the last minute. Nice defensive play in the Mount Carmel secondary.
But that's okay because now you still have another down to pick up 9 yards.
9 inches.
9 inches, right. I'm sorry. Here he is again. Boy, plenty of time. But he just rifles that down. And was that tipped? Look like it may have been tipped.
You know, DeMarcus Dolan at 5'10", and that might be a hair generous trying to block Henny. 6'1", and that may be a little on the low side.
Okay, now see, they'll just go straight up the middle now.
Now here we go, 9 inches for a first down. Dullen carries. He'll have the first down over the right side of the formation. Doesn't have it by much, but has it by enough. And the one thing that St. Rita really wanted to do in this possession, burn up some time, get flipped around, go with the wind. They have now taken 3 minutes off of the clock.
They could not have asked for anything better.
Right,
because again,
this is textbook right here.
Yeah, just hand it off. He doesn't want to get that 1 yard that you need, and that's exactly what they do.
Boy, the short yardage package, you got Darius Fleming over there.
I was about to say,
playing
like
the right
Fleming.
end, huh?
I was about to say Fleming on the right side. You just follow Mr. Fleming.
I think it's very interesting when you see coaches in a tight situation. They just put their best athletes on the put your best players in the field. Who cares what position they play?
And let Fleming go out there because he is probably the best athlete on the field.
9th play of the drive so far. This is covered 37 yards. Kafka rolls. He's in trouble. Has to get rid of it before he was ready. And that's picked off. And that's going to the end zone. Stephen Filer, touchdown, Mount Carmel. And the Caravan builds their lead to 20-12. What a pick.
We talked about Filer. We talked about we hope you can see more of him in the second half. He does not disappoint. Right on cue, and we talked about Filer.
The key to this play, Kafka couldn't set up.
Yep.
He had pressure. He had a man in his face. He had to lay it out there. And that was just like throwing a big bone out there.
You know, Filer also plays basketball. I saw him all summer. He played on their basketball team.
Pretty good player.
He's a pretty good basketball player. And a very, very intelligent, articulate young man.
So both teams have now thrown an interception that the other club returned for a touchdown. A.J. Nichols on to attempt the extra point. And he is 3 for 3. So a huge turnaround on 2 plays in this game. And so essentially we're really back to where we started before that pick at the end of the first half, Kenny, with Mount Carmel leading by a score of 21-12.
Well, it's been a game of big plays, and that was a real big one by Stephen Filer.
Let's go downstairs to Mark Kruger. Mark.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Big play there, as you mentioned, by Stephen Filer. You know, guys, he grew 7 inches between the 4th and the 7th grade. He's always faced older competition, which makes him better. Coach Lente said of him, he said, he's got a chance to be among the very best. And guys, with the plays like that, you can see why.
No question he has a chance to be among the very best. I mean, he does a great job of pursuit. He's quick. He's a tremendous athlete. And most importantly, what a nice guy. I mean, he is a wonderful human being.
And just to tag on to what Mark talked about, Stephen Filer says this is the first year that he can remember where his knees didn't hurt. And for any of you out there who have remember going through a growth spurt, I mean, your knees were always sore. They always hurt. But Stephen Filer says now, he goes, now I'm finding out what it's like to play football. My knees don't hurt. And he likes it. And he liked taking that to the end zone. Deep kick at the goal line and sails into the end zone. And now St. Rita, now they have a problem, Kenny, because they're down by more than 1 score. And they're going to have to go into the wind for at least another 8.5 minutes. They're going to have to do the same thing. Burn some time off the clock and try and just hold right where they are until they can flip around with the win in the 4th quarter.
Right, no mistakes. I mean, and this has been a game of big plays. They can't afford any more mistakes.
And they come out again with the 4-receiver formation. Only Kafka and Dullen in the backfield. And remember, the last time Kafka put it in the air was the pick. So let's see what happens here. Kafka, he'll keep it on the ground, has Dullen out in front of him. Dullen throws a block. Kafka cuts it back, has a first down over the 35-yard line, taken down at the 36, and they'll tack on some more yardage on the end for a face mask.
Boy, it looked like there may have been a face mask. We saw the flag come flying in there. What a great block, though, by Dullen.
Dullen looked like a pulling guard on that one, didn't he?
Boy, he really did. I mean, a tremendous block. The face mask, they're discussing it.
I think that's exactly what it is, Kenny.
The face mask, we're going to be late hit.
No, it's late
all
hit.
face mask. And we see the officials discussing it. Here's your call.
We have no flag.
No flag. Pick it up.
Now the question is, did he have him grabbed up around the neck? on the play that results in a 16-yard run, and it looked like a face mask, but it wasn't.
Well, we've had a couple of tackles up high tonight.
Yeah, we've had a couple of face masks that didn't get called. Now we have one that got called, and they picked the flag up.
Well, at least they're consistent. You know, if you're going to let them tackle high early in the game like we saw in the first half, you let them hit them high in the second half.
The bottom line is this. First down and 10 for St. Rita from the 36-yard line, their own 36. And even though it's a shotgun formation, it's been a lot of running by Jason Kafka. He'll run it this time. Again has blocking. Over the 40-yard line, over the 45. He's across midfield. He has a seam to beat two men. He got through it, but was tripped up as he went through. The ball ends up in the turf, but the referee has blown the play dead. It's going to be first down and 10 for St. Rita from the Mount Carmel 29.
What a job by the offensive line, Jim. What a tremendous job by that offensive line. He just takes off and follows his blocking. He does a tremendous job of letting the guys set their blocks before he makes the run. That's a 35-yard gain. That's just a tremendous, tremendous run by a quarterback that's been running all night.
If St. Rita can punch this into the end zone, it would be an enormous touchdown. Neither team has scored an offensive touchdown into the win tonight. Dolan resets. Kafka hands to Dolan up the middle. He had a little bit of room, and the hole closed very quickly as Jeremy Johnson stepped in, made the tackle at the 25-yard line. Gain of 4. It's second down and 6.
But what a great job by Johnson, though, Jim, closing that hole. Didn't go one way, knew where that ball was, came in and closed that hole. That's a pretty good job by Johnson.
9 carries for Kafka in the game, 92 yards.
Wow.
Quarterback on his way to a 100-yard game.
Well, that's close to the average of 10 yards per carry, right, Tom?
Very good. See, Kenny's picking up on my gig.
I don't know if it is, and I know it's in the neighborhood.
Kafka wants to throw. Nobody left. Has to eat it, trying to go right. Now we'll throw it in the back of the end zone where the man is wide open.
Did he get
Touchdown, St. Rita.
O'Neal.
Daniel O'Neal makes the catch in the back of the end zone. Kafka did enough scrambling around where the Mount Carmel defense started to come up, and that left O'Neal alone in the back of the end zone, and St. Rita back to within 3.
But did you notice the quick feet by Kafka? When I say quick feet to get away, what great footwork by Kafka. He just throws it up, and O'Neal with a tremendous job of putting both feet down, getting into the end zone for the touchdown.
Down 3, St. Rita will kick the extra point.
What a ball game.
Yeah, well, it's what we expected. Flaherty is in to attempt the extra point. He hit the upright on his only other attempt. That kick is up, and that time, the only thing that's going to hit is the fence at the back of the end zone. St. Rita trails by 2, 21-19.
But what great footwork by Kafka to get it loose. That was just tremendous.
So far, this has been a game of incredibly big plays.
It really
2
has.
interceptions for touchdowns. A 41-yard run for a touchdown on the Mount Carmel side of the ball by Edwin Williams.
Jim, watch his feet. See, he goes to the right, there's nothing there. I mean, he went left, nothing there. And then watch the feet. See, he gets away, great footwork, puts it up. But watch O'Neal. Watch the feet. Gets him in. Boy, has he been watching the pros or what? What a tremendous job of getting both.
I don't know if he got the second one, and of course it doesn't matter. But this, he definitely got the right.
He got the right one down. Boy, I tell you what, that's one.
Oh, no, that's nice.
That's nice. He got them both. They're both in.
80-yard drive into the win for St. Rita. 1:44 burned off the clock. 25-yard touchdown pass was the payoff play.
Boy, I like the quick footwork to be able to get away from the defensive lineman. And what great footwork at the other end to bring that ball in by Daniel O'Neal.
Now, the thing that's kind of surprising, Kenny, is the amount of points that have been scored in this game.
Yeah, that's the surprising part.
Although, 2 of the touchdowns that are on the board are defensive touchdowns. Now, this is the first kickoff we have seen into the win in the game. And that one is going to be taken at about the 10-yard line. Good job of picking that up before it hit the turf. And that's returned out to about the 28-yard line by Brent Butler and Mount Carmel. No, check that. That was Picard, KJ Picard, number 11. Here's something amazing, Kenny. That pass for a touchdown, that was the first pass completion by St. Rita in this game.
Right, but they had no yards passing in the first half. So if you're gonna get one, you better make it a big one. But remember, he came in with only 27 with 12 completions for 4 touchdowns.
Caravan offense is on the field for the first time here in the second half. And that carry by Brown goes out to about the 36-yard line. So St. Rita actually did something they wanted to do. They kept the Mount Carmel offense off of the field, but they really went about it in a roundabout way. Mount Carmel's offense doesn't get onto the field until 6.5 minutes are remaining here in the third quarter. But a lot happened in between the time the quarter started and the Caravan got their first crack on offense here. Bracken comes out wide to the right. Butler is in the slot to the right.
Look how big that offensive line is.
Second down and 3. And this will be Williams. Goes up the middle and has some room. Bounces off a couple of people. Runs backwards all the way out to the 49-yard line.
Well, he runs quicker backwards than most people do going forwards.
First and 10, Mount Carmel from just inside the midfield.
Look how quick he is. Look how quick he is. He gets the hole. Now watch, he'll get hit, he'll spin, and he'll start going backwards. He goes backwards about 6 yards. I'm telling you, he's quicker backwards than most people are forward.
Definitely quicker than me.
Well, maybe not me, but
Chris, third my age too. But 5.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. This is Brown trying the other side, and he gets it over the midfield stripe, and then pushes it down to about the 47-yard line. Gain of 3 on the play. Second down and 7.
Boy, that is a big offensive line.
Well,
They're big.
go over to the guys on the other side of the football, Kenny.
Yeah, the other side's not too small either.
Let's put it this way. If you had to feed all these guys for even a week, you'd be making a lot of trips to the grocery store.
Training table, boy, on road trips, must be a thing to see.
Can't be pretty. Frank just keeps the bus going, huh? Lynch down the line, over the 40, he's over the 35, he's inside the 30. Lynch is still on his feet, gets inside the 25, now picks up some blockers.
Got a Caravan.
Inside the 5, touchdown, Mount Carmel. What a job by the Mount Carmel offensive line of getting Lynch through. And then what a job of the downfield guys, the receivers making the blocks. 47 yards on the touchdown. One of the St. Rita players is down on the field.
We have a flag.
Right at midfield.
And there's a flag on the play. There's a flag on the play. Boy, did you see that Caravan, no pun intended, of blockers that he had downfield? Boy, we ever...
So we're going to hold off for a moment until they attend to the injured player. We can't get the number at the moment. But as soon as we can read it, we'll get it to you.
I saw the official point at a leg. I wonder if it's going to be a clip.
Okay, I was going to say.
Oh, no flag?
Danny,
They wiped it off.
I didn't see a flag in the field.
Oh, they wiped it off. Okay.
And that is Darius Fleming.
That's Fleming.
That is getting taken off the field. And it appears to be some sort of left leg injury.
Boy, you can ill afford to lose this young man.
And a huge loss for St. Rita if he can't continue.
Yeah, there's no flag on the play. They picked it up. So
4:37 remaining in the third quarter. Mount Carmel leading 27-19 with an extra point coming up. Nichols in, and he is 4 for 4. Another big play.
This has been a game of big plays, hasn't it? This has just been a one great football game. A game of big plays. Here's the touchdown, Jim. Watch the blocking. You know what? You know, I say he picks up a Caravan. Here it is again on the keeper. And look at how quick he is. He goes through the hole, Now he'll cut back to the right side here, and then he'll pick up a Caravan of blockers. Here's a block. Now look, comes back and loses. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. 3 guys. And he just comes down, walks in, touchdown. Let's watch it from the ground angle, but look how quick he is. Hits those holes quick this way, goes that way, gets away, comes back to the right side, breaks the tackle, got to take him. Oh, great stutter step there, great fake, gets to the outside and picks up the blockers and walks in. for the 47-yard touchdown.
Look at the way the running backs got downfield to make some blocks, and then the receivers came in and helped out as well. 4 plays, 73 yards, 144 for Mount Carmel. Nichols puts the foot to it, and that will go into the end zone and another touchback. Well, what does St. Rita have in the bag?
Something tells me the way this game is going, they'll have something.
4.5 minutes remaining, and in a game that, you know, the thing is, Kenny, too, when you have two teams like this going at it, a lot of times the touchdowns come on big plays. The defenses are so good, they're so active, and sometimes they're a little overactive, so you can get big plays.
This has been a game of big plays.
Kafka has to be thinking, look, guys, we scored going into the win, and now I got to do it again? Kafka, he'll keep it. He'll go up the middle, has a little bit of room, and he spins out of a tackle. And he turns that into a gain of 8 yards out to the 28-yard line.
But I think sooner or later the question is going to be, how many times do you run this play? Because
as long as it works.
They keep running it and running it and running it. He gets by Filer there, but sooner or later, I think they're going to have to mix it up. Boy, that's 10 carries, 100 yards now. So that's about approximately the average of 10 yards per carry.
It's exactly 10 a carry, Ken.
Hey, I'm getting better, Tom, without the calculator, buddy.
2nd down and 3, Kafka. He'll run it to the right side this time. Filer chases him, and Filer didn't get him because somebody came up in the secondary. It was Demetrius Carr that put a quick stop to Kafka. And it looks like they're going to spot the ball across the 30, so that is a 1st down for St. Rita.
But he will be a tired young man tonight.
Yeah, he's getting a few touches, huh, Kenny?
Over 100 yards rushing for your quarterback.
I'll tell you what, by the time everybody gets out of this parking lot tonight, there are going to be a lot of tired people. It's going to be late.
Yeah, he came in known to run the ball. Had 183 yards rushing on the season. Has over 100 tonight.
Mount Carmel coaches saw it. Bad snap, balls in the turf. Kafka picked it up, got away from Filer for the moment, then he gets popped. It's going to be a loss of about 2 yards on the play.
But did Kopeck hit him? Here it is again, a bad snap. And that'll happen sometime in the shotgun. All he has to do now, he's in no man's land. Gets away from one, and then he'll get popped right, boing, right there. Kopeck knocks him down.
I'm just going to guess the Mount Carmel coaches knew something was going on in that play because they overloaded the right side of the St. Rita formation. Then all of a sudden, Dolan shifted over and went there to block. So I think the play was going right into the teeth of whatever they were doing. 8 first downs in this quarter for St. Rita. Kafka carries, goes nowhere. Lawrence Henning makes the tackle, drops Kafka all the way back at the 27. That's a loss of 4 on the play. It's going to be 4th down and 15 into the win.
And Henning is right there waiting for him. Here it is again. He comes to the left side. Look at Henning. Nobody near Henning. Henning just sitting there waiting for him.
Check that. 3rd down and 13. They had flipped the clock on me. 3rd down and 13. 2:15 remaining in the 3rd quarter. St. Rita 2 out of 5 on 3rd down so far in this quarter, and Mount Carmel is going to call timeout.
So there was something Mount Carmel saw they didn't like.
Hey, high school football fans, did you miss last week's CN 100 Game of the Week? And it was a great game, but if you missed it, we still got you covered. Because if you missed it, you can see it when you want an on-demand from Comcast. Just click the on-demand button on your Comcast remote control. Scroll down to Get Local. From there, you click on CN 100 Comcast Network, and then find the Game of the Week folder and simply select the game you want. Play, pause, fast forward, or rewind your favorite plays. You're in control. Check back this week. You'll also be able to watch this game on demand as well. It's the Comcast Network Game of the Week on demand from Comcast. And you know what? I would pick either game 1 or game 4 because those are the ones Kenny and I did. All right, let's go down on the sidelines. Mark Kruger has some important information for us. Mark?
All right, Jim. Yeah, an injury update on Darius Fleming, the defensive end for St. Rita, cramping in his left leg. The training crew diligently trying to stretch out his left leg and get back into the game, Jim.
Thank you, Mark.
Mark, using those big words, diligently.
Well,
I don't know what that means, but I'm sure they're working on them.
not that you like seeing a player go off the field, but I'll tell you what, that's good news for St. Rita. 3rd and 13. Kafka rolls to his right, stops, throws, has a man, complete. First down, St. Rita at midfield. And still on his feet is Daniel O'Neill. Finally pulled down at the 38-yard line. First down, Mustangs. Tackle made by Victor Alvarez.
Boy, another big play by O'Neill. And another big play by this Mustang team. They bend, but they just don't break.
This is a big-time throw, Kenny. He really had to squeeze this thing in there. Watch this.
He does a great job, Jim, rolling over, rolling to the right. Then he stops, plants that foot, and boy, he does just get it right between the two defenders. And O'Neill does a great job of being right at the right place at the right time. Gets away from a couple of blockers, tacklers. O'Neill, again, with another big play for the Mustangs.
34 yards on the completion. St. Rita now deep in Mount Carmel territory. Kafka, back to throw. Takes a look, has a pocket, has time, down the sideline, wanted O'Neill, and that was kind of a strange one. He threw it in between two patterns. I think the wind knocked it down a little bit too.
Yeah, and then bounces behind O'Neill. And when you throw it up that high, the wind's going to knock it down, Jim. You're going to have to throw that more of a line drive because the wind did knock that down.
So 2nd and 10 now coming from the 38-yard line. But, you know, I just had to check the flag, Kenny, because, you know, we've made such a big deal about the way the wind blowing and how hard it is going into the wind, but St. Rita has really moved the ball well. 8th play of the drive coming up. I formation this time for St. Rita. They'll pitch. And nothing there. Johnson slowed up the play, but breaking the tackles and finally getting taken down after a gain of about 5 on the play was Dispenza.
Well, what he does, Jim, he makes a 5-yard gain out of something that really wasn't right there because he gets away here as he was stood up and slowed down there by Henning. But he ends up picking up 5. He gets away from Henning, then he's able to get 5. So actually, not a bad play by Dispenza.
51 seconds remaining here in quarter number 3. And we've talked about it. There's the visual evidence. Wind's still blowing out of the north.
Yeah, it slowed down a little bit. It's not as heavy as it was.
I formation again on 3rd down and 6. Kafka, hands off. Dispenza goes up the middle. He pushes it across the 30 before he's met by the bulk of the Mount Carmel defense and thrown backwards. It's going to be 3rd down and, or check that, it's going to be 4th down and about 2. And they will spot the ball just short of the 30-yard line. Now, will Mount Carmel call timeout here?
To make them do something, and they're going to let it run out.
Oh, they're going to go. You know what? They're going to flip around. I bet they're going to go for it, Kenny.
Yep.
So, 3 quarters in the books. It has been as advertised so far at Gately Stadium. 2 of the top high school teams in the nation going head-to-head. Mount Carmel leads St. Rita 28-19. 4th quarter coming up on the CN100 High School Game of the Week.
You're watching the Comcast Network, CN100 Chicago.
Comcast has made it even easier to find your favorite shows through a newly improved on-screen program guide with features that will enhance the viewing experience for the entire family. The new Comcast Central feature displays live images of what's being played on other cable channels, including your favorite news and kids networks. Simply highlight a window to hear audio from that channel. Select a window and tune in full screen. It's all part of the exciting new updates made to Comcast's on-screen program guide. It's Comcastic.
We are back at a jam-packed Gately Stadium on the south side. St. Rita and Mount Carmel, 2 of the most storied high school football programs in the Chicagoland area, and this year 2 of the best in the country. Jim Blaney along with Kenny McReynolds and Mark Kruger. We are looking at play number 9 of this drive by St. Rita that started on their own 20. 4th down and 2.
Gonna go for it.
Kafka pitches back. Dispenza stopped short of the 1st down. Mount Carmel takes over on their own 30-yard line.
Jeremy Johnson, what a hit. And Dispenza's still down. Boy, he's holding his knee. Boy, you hate to see a guy hold his knee. Here it is again, Jim. Here's your pitch to Dispenza out of the back, boy, but watch Johnson. Nobody gets him. He comes through that gap and brings him down. You can see where the knee bends right there.
That might have been an ankle too, Kenny. Now, one of the things we need to check as St. Rita comes out to play defense is, does Darius Fleming come back out onto the field? Because he was injured on the last offensive series for St. Rita. We'll take a break. Mount Carmel leading St. Rita 28-19 in the CN 100 high school game of the week.
You're watching the Comcast Network, CN 100 Chicago.
Jane goes to school from 7:45 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then must go to softball practice from 3:45 to 6 p.m., followed by jazz practice from 6:30 to 9 p.m. What are you doing between 3:45 and 9?
A recent survey of Fortune 500 executives showed that 95% participated in activities while in high school. So don't just go to school, go beyond with the IHSA.
The Illinois High School Association. Challenge yourself.
Welcome back to Gately Stadium. Dispenza taken off the field, and Fleming is not on the field. No, check that. He is. He's at right end this time instead of left end. Mount Carmel leading right now 28-19. They have the ball. And the pitch goes back to Brown, deep in the backfield, trying to get around the corner. He does, and then dives out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Gain of 7 on the play. 2nd down and 3 upcoming, and Kenny, now Mount Carmel is in the position of where they want to run clock, but they don't want to run it so they can get flipped around. They just want to run it out so they can win the game.
Yeah, they just want to run it out, so don't anticipate any really, really big or fancy plays by the Caravan, just running it out. But boy, what a nice job getting around that corner there by Brown. Once he turned that corner, Jim, he was able to pick up a little bit of daylight.
Bracken out wide to the left. Butler is in the slot to the left. Handoff up the middle, and Williams will take it. He'll take it out to almost the 41-yard line, so that's a 1st down for Mount Carmel.
Just what they wanted to do.
Right.
Get the 1st down, keep the clock moving.
And of course, the clock you see stops in high school football until they get the chains reset, and now they're back off and running.
Yeah, nice pitch.
Yeah. Tom Bonin got that for us.
Yeah. You and I
look good together, huh?
Yeah.
10 carries.
Good team.
35 yards for Williams. Now, the amazing thing about that for Williams, that includes that long touchdown run, too. So a lot of his runs have been very, very short. 1st and 10 for Mount Carmel. And this time, it is a keeper around the right side by Jordan Lynch. Picks up about 3 yards over the right side of the formation, stays in bounds. Clock will roll. 2nd down and 7 coming up.
That's what he wanted to do, Jim, was to make sure that he stayed in bounds. He did not want to get out of bounds. Your enemy now is the clock. That's your enemy.
But the amazing thing about this game, too, Kenny, is there have been times when one team really looked about to assert control. Mount Carmel at the end of the 1st half before the interception, and St. Rita was really getting it going in their direction into the wind in the 3rd quarter when Filer made the pick and ran it back for a score. 2nd down and 8. Lynch throws, and that one a little high and outside. Might have been a miscommunication in the patterns as Bracken turned inside and Lynch threw it high and outside.
Yeah, and that ball was very, very high. I mean, Bracken didn't have a chance at that one. So, yeah, it looked like a little miscommunication.
Now the St. Rita defense with a huge opportunity to get off the field and give their team back the ball.
Look at St. Rita crowd. They know it's 3rd and 8. They need a big play on the defensive stands.
Because punting into the wind in this game has just not been something anybody's been able to do very well. 3rd down and 8 from the 42. Lynch rolls out to his left. Being pursued, throws, complete. Bracken has it out of bounds. First down, Mount Carmel at the St. Rita 45.
And Jim, remember a few plays ago you mentioned how Fleming was on the right side. This time he was on the opposite side and they run away from him because you know he's a big play guy. Here it is again. They ran away from Fleming, and wide open there is Justin Bracken. First down, Mount Carmel.
I'm going to tell you this, Jordan Lynch in film session is going to get some razzing about that pass because it was wobbly, but it got there, and it's a big play for Mount Carmel. 10 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter.
Now Fleming's back to the right side.
Brown hit initially after about a gain of 2, but he keeps his feet moving, takes it down to about the 41-yard line. Gain of 4 on the play.
I think every time I saw number 90, whatever side he lines up on, I think I go the opposite way.
Yeah, run away from
run away from Fleming. But they come at him this time. They're not afraid of him. There he is. He stood up. And Brown takes the shot, but they keep the clock running. 2nd and 7.
Lynch in the game, 5 out of 10 for 71 yards.
There's Mr. Fleming.
You know what? I mean, look at the dude. I mean, he just looks like a football player, doesn't he?
He really does.
Lynch. Hands off, and that was Fleming making the tackle on that play after a gain of about a yard. Out to the 40-yard line. We're going to call it 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, not much there. Mount Carmel just running the clock. 9 minutes to go. The enemy now is the clock, not so much as it is St. Rita.
Well, and Mount Carmel getting very close to territory where they might consider going for it on 4th down.
Right, just to keep that clock moving.
Picard and Bracken go out to the right. Lynch keeps option, carries over the 40, and he will spin out of bounds, or spin inside the, I should say the out of bounds line. Didn't quite go out. The bottom line is this, he has a 1st down.
And he keeps the clock moving. They'll stop the clock while they move the chains. But here it is again, as they fake the handoff, and he'll just take off. But the key thing here, Jim, what does he do? He gets that 1st down.
Oh, look at him.
Sure.
Yeah, that I couldn't see through the coaches that he had put on the brakes and just did a fabulous job of just stopping. And then letting the defense go by and falling forward. He knew he had the 1st down. 8.5 minutes remaining. Mount Carmel now wants to keep it going on the ground. And that's Brown, and he'll carry it over the 30 to about the 28-yard line. Fleming is in on the tackle.
Hey, let me ask you a question. To our right, you see all the people outside looking in. Do they pay admission?
No, because they're not inside the stadium.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to pay till you get inside the fence.
They can watch the game for free, huh?
Yeah.
Smart people.
Free. There they are.
There they are. And there are a lot of people outside that could not get in here.
Almost me. 2nd down and 8. Lynch, he keeps, has an option, decides not to use it. He'll carry forward to the 25, and then he's kind of twisted like a pretzel and thrown backwards by Stephen Atkinson, among others.
Boy, lassoed around the neck. But watch the tackle. I mean, we've had a couple of high tackles here tonight so far, but watch the tackle. A little bit high, right? There, bring him around. It's clean. It's not a face mask, but it was certainly high. Down there by Hopkins.
This drive started on the 30-yard line and has found its way down to the St. Rita 25.
I'm glad you can see because I can't.
3rd down and 3. 2 shots at it from Mount Carmel. If they don't get it here on 3rd, I would have a pretty good feeling they're going to go for it on 4th. And we get a flag.
Too much time?
Based on the reaction by the Mount Carmel coaches, it is on the Caravan. That's a huge, huge penalty, Kenny. Although it's huge from the standpoint you change the yardage, but I'm guaranteeing you Mount Carmel's going to take 2 cracks at it.
You're still 3rd and 8.
Because it makes no sense to punt it into the wind from here, and if you kick it into the end zone, you gain 8 yards.
Yeah, so you're going to take 2 cracks.
Let's go downstairs to Mark Kruger. Mark?
Jim, bad news for St. Rita. The injured player, Dan Dispenza, they tell me it's the MCL of the right knee. They've got him iced up, but he will not return, Jim.
Thank you, Mark. That's very disappointing news for St. Rita and their fans. Pitch. Brown has it. He is over the 25. He has a 1st down and into the red zone down to the 17-yard line. First down for Mount Carmel. 6:38 remaining in the fourth quarter.
And he stays in bounds to keep that clock moving. Here it is again. He'll pitch it right at the last minute. Boy, he just gets that away, and you see Brown gets to that outside, Jim. Does a good job of making sure he picks up that first down, but also staying in bounds.
Lynch made that one extra little fake that froze Brian Popak and allowed him to make the pitch and give Brown some room.
First and 10 from the 17.
Over on the far hash mark. And Lynch he's trying to time it now. He's milking every second he can. Handoff, that goes to Williams. He's through the crowd, and he is pulled down from behind inside the 5-yard line. Boy, that's a play that sometimes you don't see guys get up from too easy when they're pulled from behind like that.
Yeah, Martin Hopkins yanks him down from behind, and boy, thank goodness he's able to jump up, because you notice the way the knees went bent
exactly.
when he went down.
What was it, Wendell Davis?
Yep.
In Philadelphia, that one time blew out both knees.
Yep, here it is again. Boy,
that was Brown in the carry.
Just
watch. Oh, man.
Boy, he's okay.
First down and goal from the 4-yard line.
What an impressive drive by the Caravan.
Pitch. Williams. Touchdown number 3 on the afternoon for Williams. And Mount Carmel now with a huge lead, 34-19.
And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but he goes in untouched. Yes! Goes in untouched.
Mount Carmel pounded it with the option. And then they turned around and just spun around and flipped it out to Williams, and he runs it into the end zone.
What an impressive drive. That was an 80-yard drive?
70-yard drive.
70? Okay. I'm close enough. It was impressive.
A.J. Nichols in to attempt the extra point. And this would put Mount Carmel up by 16. And it's good. So now St. Rita is going to need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions in 5.5 minutes to tie this game.
Well, I think we may see the Mustangs put the ball in the air now.
But they do have the advantage of they are going with the wind.
And that's the biggest advantage, because they have the wind. Here's a touchdown replay, Jim. Watch this. Whereas he comes in, here's your pitch to the left side. Nobody in front of him. He just walks in untouched. 3 touchdowns tonight. Untouched all 3 times. Here it is, right into your living room off the pitch. The block goes in untouched.
You know what I'm wondering, Kenny? I'm wondering what the answer to the trivia question is.
That's a good question.
I'm on pins and needles.
Yeah, we know 2 of the 3 answers.
Tom Bonnet is mocking me. He pulls out a piece of paper out of his pocket and waves it in my face.
Oh, you know all 3?
He's got the answers.
Oh.
Well, he comes up with the questions.
Oh, okay.
The deck is stacked. 13 plays, 70 yards, 625, and that drive was into the wind, and that was I'll tell you what, that is a drive by a team that very well may end up as the #1 team if the score holds up, because
that was an impressive.
St. Rita ranked #1 in a lot of the polls. Ball is picked up at the 10-yard line. And the herd returns the ball out to about the 33-yard line. Just a massive humanity. All right, here's our answer. I got to admit, Kenny and I got 2 of them. I didn't get the 3rd one. Our trivia question is, can you know what? I messed this up. Oh, it says here, name the 3 Mount Carmel grads currently playing in the NFL. We got Simeon Rice and Donovan McNabb, Steve Edwards of the Ravens.
Steve Edwards of the Ravens.
Simeon Rice is the Broncos. That's right.
Yeah, he just signed.
Yeah, just signed.
Just signed.
All right, now, and I said, Mount Carmel graduate who was on TV last night. Daniel Sunyata on Rescue Me. Plays Franco Rivera. He's a Mount Carmel grad.
Never heard of him.
He also, well, maybe you heard of this. He played Reggie Jackson in The Bronx is Burning.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a Mount Carmel grad?
He's a Mount Carmel grad, yeah.
You know what? That guy had all of Reggie's mannerisms down.
Yeah, Kafka has a good run, and he's down inside the 45-yard line of Mount Carmel before he's dragged out of bounds. So St. Rita not quite mailing it in yet. They're in Mount Carmel territory. They get the clock stopped with the chains moving, so who knows?
Boy, he did a great job of playing Reggie Jackson. Had all of his mannerisms down. He didn't look like him, but he had the mannerisms down, just like Reggie Jackson.
Well, I'll tell you this, and you can get FX on Comcast. And Rescue Me just ended their season last night. My opinion, best show on television. It's outstanding.
I'll have to check that out.
Very good stuff. 1st and 10 from the Mount Carmel 43-yard line. Kafka back to throw. Has a man. Oh, Dolan couldn't hang on.
And then he gets hit.
You might as well catch it because you're going to get popped, and that was Demetrius Carr.
Boy, he started to turn before he caught it. He had to look into your hands. Here it is again. A little screen pass, and Jim, I think he wanted to turn before he caught it, and then he gets to pop.
Well, Dolan is 5'10", and we mentioned earlier we thought that might be a little generous, and that one was just a little bit high and wide. 2nd down and 10 from the 43. Got the 4 wides. Dolan slides over to his left. Kafka. He's running it, has it over the 40, he's over the 35, going for the change and just stopped dead in his tracks and driven out of bounds by Filer about a yard short of the 1st down.
Boy, Filer was not going to let him get that 1st down, was he? Watch Filer. You know, look for number 44 coming over. No, you're not going to get that. It's Filer. Force him to the outside, and then he's pushed out of bounds.
Let's give credit where credit is due. Alvarez.
Yep, but Filer started him out. Alvarez finishes it.
15 carries in the game for Kafka, 134 yards.
And I won't begin to try to add that up and divide that, Tom.
5 minutes remaining. Kafka, he'll take it. Goes left side. He has the 1st down, and he gets out of bounds. They gave both signals. Now, the Mount Carmel coaches are all rolling their arms. They want the clock to keep rolling. They're going to move the chains. That'll stop the clock. 4:57 remaining. Are they going to wind it?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Stayed in bounds.
St. Rita quickly up to the line. They need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. They trail by 16. 1st and 10 from the 29.
Well, you take a shot to the end zone now.
Kafka back, takes a look, steps up in the pocket, delivers the ball, and intercepted. Interception by the Caravan. They have the ball back. Return comes out to the 50-yard line. And I still don't have the number of the player who made the interception.
It looks like Keith Nunez. Looks like Keith Nunez.
The ball was tipped by Jeremy Johnson.
There it is again. Johnson will tip it, but it's Nunez that comes up with it. Here's your tip. And the ball in the air. But he wrestles it away. Nunez wrestles it away from Quinn and takes it down the sideline.
And interceptions and turnovers have been a key story in this game. Mount Carmel gets another one, 4.5 minutes left.
Boy, a game of big plays. Hey, you mentioned Reggie Jackson, who was just one of my heroes growing up because I loved Mr. October. But the most impressive thing I've ever seen in sports, Jim, 3 home runs on 3 consecutive pitches off 3 different pitchers in the World Series.
I don't know. Did you see Tiger play today?
Yeah, no, that has nothing to do.
28 on the front side?
Nah, to me, 3 home runs on 3 consecutive pitches on 3 different pitchers in the World Series. See, Tiger's playing against himself. Reggie's playing against somebody throwing the ball.
Yeah, but if by Tiger playing against himself, he's playing against the best guy in the world. The best guy that's ever been. Mount Carmel now will just try and ground it out. And they run it over the 30-yard line to about the 32.
The big crowd heading to the exit.
Yep, a lot of people heading out.
I would think our player of the game would probably be Edwin Williams.
That's who I would go. You know what, though, Kenny? I agree with you. It's Williams, but, you know, there's all sorts of guys from Mount Carmel that were outstanding tonight. Filer. I think Rita did a good job of really staying away from Filer tonight, but he had a chance to make a big play, and he did.
Yeah, when he had to make one, he did.
And I think, Lynch was very, very good in the game tonight. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? Next week, Kenny, CN 100, high school game of the week. We go to the West Suburban Silver. Tune in on Saturday, September 22nd at noon as the York Dukes who got to the second to last game of the year last year. Lost to Wheaton Warrenville South. They host Lyons Township in Elmhurst. For game information along with additional air dates and times, visit our website at www.cn100.tv. Mount Carmel just a hair under 300 yards total in this game.
Wow.
221 rushing to winning total, 5 touchdowns.
Well, I just really like what Coach Lynch said at halftime. I'm not going to second guess myself. We have no pressure on us. St. Rita's #1. Just go out, guys, and play good, free-spirited football.
Well,
2 good teams, though. These teams are both great teams.
I'll tell you what, there's one thing that both of the coaches said that I don't necessarily think they were giving us the 100% truth. That is Frank Lenti saying, we don't feel any pressure, they're #1. You know what? You're Mount Carmel, man. Every time you put on that brown jersey, you better feel some pressure because of the great history of that school and the football program and the guys who've worn the jerseys before you. And then for St. Rita, the thought that, well, you know what, it's just another conference opener. No, it's not. It's
Mount Carmel.
It's your most heated rival. It's the one game that your alums and everybody in the school wants you to win. And the evidence of that was last year when St. Rita beat Mount Carmel. I have never seen a crowd react like that over a regular season win in as long as you and I have been doing this. It was wonderful to see. It was at St. Rita. I mean, they were ecstatic. The only thing that stunk about that, Kenny, last year was the fact that everybody stayed to the end of the game, and you think it's hard to get out of here after a game? Oh, man, St. Rita, there's one exit.
One way in, one way out. There's a few people staying until the end.
Start with Prep Sports highlights, mix in interviews with coaches, players, and fans, add a seasoned host with a passion for local sports. Sports Weekly comes to life. You can catch Sports Weekly Wednesday through Friday at 6:30. For more information and for some more great shots, Tiger Beat type shots of Perry Williams, go to www.cn100.tv.
That was Nunez's second interception of the season.
Let me tell you something. You know what show my teenage daughter and all her friends, they watch Sports Weekly because they love Perry. They think he's hot. 4:19 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Well, they're young. They don't know any better.
I'm going to guess a running play.
What did they say about me?
Lynch pitches out down the sideline, and staying in bounds and delivering a blow was Williams. You know, I've had the pleasure, Kenny, of calling a couple of Mount Carmel trips deep into the playoffs, state championship games, you know, semifinal games, things like that. And one of the things that amazes, I've never had the opportunity to watch Mount Carmel play this early in the year. And the helmets are very, very white because they get the little brown footballs for outstanding plays and achievements. And while these teams are usually so good by the end of the year, the guys that do all the playing, their helmets are covered with it. They got a little ways to go. You can tell it's only the 4th game of the year. 4:12 remaining. Lynch, hands off up the middle. And we talked about at the very beginning, Kenny, about how eventually one of those sets of linemen was going to begin to dominate the game, and it certainly looks like it's the Mount Carmel offensive line.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier this half how big they were, big and strong. But yeah, this St. Rita team is going to play a long way into November, Jim.
As well as Mount Carmel team.
Yeah, I mean, Mount Carmel, St. Rita just ran into a buzzsaw tonight.
And remember this, too,
that
if it goes the way it did last year, and I don't see why it wouldn't, is St. Rita 7A champs, and Mount Carmel got to the championship game in 8A. So these two teams ended up in different classes.
Yeah, is St. Rita someone told they're going to move up to 8A this season? Or they don't know yet?
They don't know. I don't think all the calculations are done, and they're going to flag Mount Carmel because one of their linemen got down in his stance and then backed out. The Mount Carmel coaches are saying, wait a second, the quarterback wasn't under center yet.
Well, you certainly don't want to stop the clock with penalties. You just want to get out of here. You just want to get out of here.
So what's it like having a home game, Kenny?
It's nice on the south side. Yeah,
got one. Huh? Well, Rita was a home game for you.
Yeah, Rita was a real home game for me. Rita was more of a home game than Gately Stadium. But Jim, no matter where we go, it's always exciting. Our Comcast crew, they do a wonderful job. We always have great games, but the crew, they do such a tremendous job of bringing you all the pictures. We have the easy part. They set up, they're here early. Andy does a great job producing and directing. Dan Capasso was here today, the big boss.
Bought dinner for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, it was free.
And our crew, you talk about extremes. Kenny and I worked week 1. Now we had a chance to work this game. Week 1 in Wheaton.
Hey, boy.
There we are.
I don't know where we are.
I'm where I should be, right behind that blue post.
There you go.
But anyway, that night, it was hot and humid, and I'm telling you, we had mosquitoes the size of B-52s the crew had to contend with. And now tonight, we have that first blast of fall in the air.
A little chilly.
A little chilly, but it's fabulous. Carry by Lynch goes over the midfield stripe to the 48, and now St. Rita will start burning their timeouts.
And all of the young men that were in front of us in the first row are the Mount Carmel coaches.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Got a few of them.
Yeah, have a few.
Got a few assistants at Mount Carmel. And
a few assistants and one great head coach.
Lynch comes off the field and gets a standing ovation for the Mount Carmel fans. Gets a little chat from Frank Lenti.
Yeah, I saw Frank before the game. He was just so calm and relaxed. Talking to him before the game, I mean, he was really relaxed and calm. And his team played relaxed and calm because, as you know, if the head coach is uptight,
right,
the team's going to play uptight. I was talking to Frank. I saw him before the game. He was nice and relaxed and even-keeled, calm and cool, and that's what you want your coach to be. But I tell you what, though, you can't think of two finer gentlemen as head coaches.
Right.
These are both two outstanding young men, not just coaches, but as people, they are just great individuals.
Every time I've ever had to deal with either one of these schools to get information, talk to coaches, they're just accommodating, and they make your job so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Punt formation for Mount Carmel. Kick is away, and it will stop at the 25, bounce around a little bit, and it will be 1st and 10 for St. Rita. They have 2 minutes and 16 seconds to try and come up with a miracle 16 points. Kenny, your point about the players taking the lead from the coach. Years ago, I did a state championship game down when they were still playing them at Normal, and we went to talk to the two coaches before the game. And Coach A, I'll leave the names out. Coach A, we go to knock on the locker room door, and was very uptight. Didn't want to talk to us. You could tell he was stressed out. Coach B invited us into the locker room, wanted us to meet his players. He had the system of offense they ran. Finish the story in a second. Back to pass and sack back to the 15-yard line. But anyway, the second coach, he tells us his entire offensive system. Everything was inaudible at the line. He told us what the calls were. Mm-hmm. I worked that Thanksgiving weekend with Ron Rivera. So we turned up the field mics, and the quarterback would all with the line, and Ron Rivera would tell us what the plays were. But anyway, guess who won the game? The coach who invited us in the locker room. That pass is a little bit because
his team was probably nice and relaxed and not uptight.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now that, just to kind of tie this into why we're here tonight, that was the 1995 state championship weekend, and that was the year that Mount Carmel lost to Maine South in overtime, and to this day, Frank Lenti insists the kick by Brian Schmitz of Maine South was no good.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, I can't remember back 1995.
1:49 remaining. And didn't touch his knee, still alive, pass over the middle of the field, and Mount Carmel will take that, a pass in the middle of the field. And
yeah, they'll take that.
You're not running downfield, so now they'll line up very, very quickly. Matthew Quinn making the reception on that play.
90 seconds.
Mount Carmel will go to 4-0. And they may very well, too, go to #1 in the polls around the Chicagoland area. This week's issue of Sports Illustrated has St. Rita ranked 8th.
Yeah.
Well, Mount Carmel beats St. Rita. You would have to think that Mount Carmel very well may show up in that top 10 next week.
Somewhere in that Sports Illustrated top 10. They're going to spot it. They're going to measure it. They're going to bring the chains out. Yep. They're going to bring the chains out.
Minute 19 remaining.
All the Mount Carmel coaches are standing up, ready to go.
And Mount Carmel holds, and they will now have the opportunity to take a couple of knees. The interesting thing is the St. Rita side of the field pretty well cleared out. The Mount Carmel stands, they're all still here, and they're all on their feet.
Well, the coaches are leaving. All right, I like the coaches. Okay, let's go. They waited till the snap, till the chain, till the measurement.
Well, let's think about this, Kenny. If indeed St. Rita gets booted up to 8A, it's very likely that not only these two teams would meet in the playoffs, but they'd probably meet pretty early.
Which would be a shame.
Because of the way they do the pairings.
Yeah, that would be a shame.
I really wish in the larger classes where the bulk of your schools are Chicagoland schools, they'd go back to the seeding they did a few years ago, which I thought produced some spectacular state championship games.
Yeah, I think that would be a shame if these two teams had to meet each other early in the state playoffs. I think it would be a shame if St. Rita got booted up to 8A. I would like to keep them down in 7A and let Mount Carmel stay in 8A. That way you have a great chance once again of having two Catholic League teams downstate. And that's the way it should be.
Are you done?
Well, among the things you can look at that hurt St. Rita tonight, 2 out of 7 passing.
Yeah, a lot of running, a lot of ground game yardage on the ground, not a lot in the air.
46 seconds remaining. They've obviously told Lynch when he needs to snap the ball, because he's looking straight at the clock.
And then just take the knee down.
Takes a knee.
Turn out
and this is a case where the referee usually takes his time spotting the football. And that's going to do it. So the Mount Carmel Caravan, they go to 4-0. St. Rita drops to 3-1. But as we've mentioned, two teams we are definitely going to see in November, and two teams that, well, you know what, a playoff game between these two teams, you might have to move it to Soldier Field.
No question, because I don't know what stadium would be big enough to hold it.
Caravan, they avenge the loss from 1 year ago. They win it tonight. Final score, Mount Carmel 35, St. Rita 19. We're back with more from Gately Stadium in a moment on the CN 100 High School Game of the Week.